Oh, I forgot. For a touch of class and culture, in case you think you've switched on the government channel by mistake, we're going to have one of Canada's leading artists, an artist yet, who's agreed to talk to me. And I have a forehead, don't I? But we'll start with Watson, the Sea Shepherd, fleeing British Columbia after the break. Robert Bateman is, they tell me, how would I know, a distinguished Canadian artist, a wildlife artist. And Robert Bateman, who comes from Toronto?
Well, I was born there.
Born in
I don't
Toronto.
live there anymore.
Where do you live?
Oh, 50 miles away.
He comes from Toronto.
Okay.
I mean, don't split hairs over 50 miles. He has let me down badly this morning, because I was all agog to show to you a representation of the loons. Loons? Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
That Bateman painted as a present from Canada to Prince Charles and Lady Di. Is that right?
Exactly. That's right.
Was it just a painting of a loon?
Oh, it was a paint. It was 2 feet by 3 feet. It was a painting of 2 loons and 2 baby loons, and some cliffs.
May I ask who commissioned this work of loony art?
The Governor General.
Oh, my old friend Ed Schreier.
That's right.
Ed and Lily.
That's right. I don't know where he got my name, but
Oh, come off
he's
it,
the one
man.
that asked me.
Did Ed and Lily approve it before it went?
I haven't spoken to them. I understand he saw it, though. He said he liked it.
Were they British Columbia loons or Ontario loons?
They're Canadian loons.
Oh, Canadian loons.
In spite of the last segment you had. They could be found anywhere in Canada.
Yeah, I've seen them up at Loon Lake.
In fact, they're in Scotland, too.
Loons?
That's right. That's why I thought it would be appropriate, because I know Charles likes Scotland. They're
Are
called
you-
the Great Northern Diver up there.
I gotta tell you something. Charles in a kilt looks anything but Scotch. Do you know that?
Yeah.
And it's
I
just a
agree.
wee bit too long on his knees, and it sags a wee bit at the back, and he looks vaguely uncomfortable in the whole thing. Before I do anything else, though, I want you to look at the monitor. How long to roll? 5-second roll.
Okay.
And see if you can give me a nice, positive commentary on the kind of work you do.
Okay.
Robert Bateman's work.
All right. We're starting here with the leopard and the sausage tree. I guess I've got a special feeling for Africa. I've been there about 6 times to East Africa. Now we're on to a great horned owl. This is actually something I saw out our dining room window, but not quite that close. Great blue heron. Shows a bit of the oriental kind of thing I like to do. I'm really crazy about oriental art. There are lots of great blue herons down at Tawasin here. I see them every time I
That's
go
all.
across in the ferry. Right.
Next one.
These are kittiwakes that are found only on the sea. They look like regular
Seagulls.
gulls. Yeah, but they're not quite the same. They're not the same as you. Your seagulls here are called glaucous wing gulls. Those are kittiwakes.
That's a rabbit.
That's a rabbit. It's a baby rabbit. And this shows one of the things I try to do in my work is not play up the animal in too obvious a way, and have it sort of blended in with the environment. Here we have a cougar.
Canadian
again,
cougar?
Canadian cougar, that's right, with some rocks. I'm afraid they're Ontario rocks where we don't have cougars. We made them extinct.
No, I meant mountain lions, that
That's
kind
right,
of thing.
yeah. That's a coyote. There's a beer can buried in that painting. If anyone buys the book, they might be able to find the beer can.
Isn't
It's
that
kind
a
of
shame?
my own minor
That
commentary
coyote
on-
looks quite magnificent.
Coyotes are magnificent, I think. I don't think they should be treated as vermin. This is a barn swallow, young barn swallow looking out of the window of the barn.
That's
just
not a
about-
house martin, it's a barn swallow.
That's right.
And
And
that?
here we have a belted kingfisher. Again, a classic Canadian bird. This was kind of inspired by the group of 7, the way they do the patterns of yellow and blue with the leaves and the water. I based that one on a frozen one. I still got him in my freezer. I propped him up like that.
You didn't kill him, did you?
He killed himself. He hit our window. Here we have a rough-legged hawk up in an elm tree. Something that's becoming extinct in our part of the world.
The hawk of the elm tree.
The elm trees, yeah. The Dutch elm disease is wiping them out in England and around our part of the world, too. And there's the fox that's on the cover of the book.
They tend to suffer from, what do you call that thing? Rabies, don't they?
That's right. They carry rabies and get persecuted for that reason. Skunks, I think, are the worst.
Skunks are the worst.
Worst rabies.
Raccoons don't carry them, do they?
I think they can, yeah.
Oh dear, I have a problem with raccoons. And I hate to shoot
Where,
them.
here or Salt Spring?
At Salt Spring. I just hate to shoot them.
Right.
Believe it or
especially
not.
after the last show.
No, I'm a person of considerable couth, and I am a bird watcher.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
I saw a couple of birds the other when the cherries were on the tree, and I can't remember the name of the damn things. But I actually
You watch them, you don't identify them.
Well, I've got to go and look up the book, and then I forget
Right.
the name. It's not my primary interest in life.
Right.
But anyway, I saw these two birds. One picked the cherry off the tree. What do they call? And handed it to the other bird.
Were they waxwings?
Crested
With a crest?
waxwings.
That's right. Yeah.
Crested waxwings. See?
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
I've
I'm
heard
a bird
about that.
watcher.
That's right.
And I've got my pileated woodpeckers are back.
Super.
And around the fall, they go crazy. And one of them inhabits the top of an apple tree. And when you go near that apple tree, it dive bombs you.
My
You
God.
think it's a crazy pileated woodpecker?
Must be. Must be all
Big
that
one.
knocking on wood.
Big one. Big red band on it. Huge thing.
But they shouldn't dive on you in the fall. They should dive on you in the spring.
Well, maybe it's the spring. I can't remember. I
Oh,
never know
well,
spring from
maybe-
fall. But there are times of the year. But it doesn't nest in that tree.
Just,
But it'll circle me and crackle, cackle, 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 and go at you and vanish again.
you got some big trees nearby? You must
Oh,
have.
yeah, huge trees nearby.
Probably the nest is in one of the big ones.
What was that? Oh, safaris in Africa. Now, did you actually make your first safari to Africa merely to paint?
No, I went around the world in a Land Rover in 1957, 58.
Or a commercial junket?
The end of no, a buddy of mine. In fact, he was the director of the BC Provincial Museum, Bristol Foster.
Don't know, Bristol Foster. Sounds like shaving cream.
Yeah, that's
Bristol
right.
Myers. Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Bristol
he's now
Foster.
director of ecological reserves for British Columbia. But when he was a grad student,
Tell me about that. What
About-
year was that?
57, 58.
Where did you start? You were
We-
just kids then, because you're old, you know, 45?
No, I'm 50, 51.
Don't look it.
I'm born in 1930.
Your own hair?
Yeah, that's
don't
right.
diet?
So, that's right. And it was
An
fantastic. It was-
artist's life is an easy life. Look at all that money you've had from Canada Council.
I haven't had a penny.
How come?
I
come you
haven't
missed out?
Well, see, I was a school teacher, and I was an overpaid school teacher. I didn't need to.
So you saved money.
That's right.
And in 57, you and Bristol Foster.
Went around the world in a Land Rover. We went across Africa, across equatorial Africa.
Tell me where you stopped.
Okay,
It's a thing I'd love to do myself,
Okay,
because I'm a four-wheel drive freak.
okay. We started in Solihull, where they make Land Rovers, and Bristol took a course on how to take a Land Rover apart and put it back together again.
Fairly simple, isn't it?
Then we put it on an Elder Dempster freighter and went down to Ghana, and we drove right through colonial Africa. It was fantastic. Belgium was in the Congo, and
Down to Congo.
Uganda was a protectorate, and Kenya, Tanganyika it
We're
was. in
still
those
safe.
days.
The British were still technically in charge, more of.
Technically in charge, that's right.
Made it safe, though.
Mau Mau was just finishing.
So you went from Uganda to where?
To Kenya, to Tanganyika, as it was in those days. And then
You
we took a
didn't go
ship.
through the southern Sudan at all?
No. I've
Kenya
been-
to Tanganyika?
That's right. Then we took a ship up to Bombay
Mm-hmm.
and went through northern India, up into Nepal, up into Sikkim. We visited the Crown Prince of Sikkim.
What was her name again?
He married Hope Cook.
Yeah, Hope Cook.
Yeah,
I was
after
thinking
we
of.
were there, his Tibetan wife had died, or she was Tibetan blood.
Sikkim. That was supposed to be Shangri-La, wasn't it?
It was Shangri-La. Yeah.
It was.
I understand they've split up now, and he's quite an unhappy and unhealthy man.
And I think it's been taken over, Sikkim,
Well,
has it not?
Well, it's a very
Chinese.
sensitive area that the Indians have really clamped down on. Then we fiddled a free ship on a free trip on a Japanese ship to Rangoon, and we sailed. I mean, we drove north from Rangoon, and through the Shan states and into the north of Thailand, and we were arrested for 4 days because no one had come across the border for 4 years.
Is that the old Burma Road?
It was part of the old Burma Road. The main Burma Road went to India, though. And then we drove down Thailand to Singapore and down across Australia, to Australia by ship. And then came back to Vancouver.
Wonderful experience.
Couldn't do it again, you'd get shot.
Yeah, the world was more stable in those days, was it not?
Yeah.
Many major breakdowns?
Petrol pump and a few bent a steering rod in the Cameroons, that kind of thing.
And you're painting all the way?
I was painting all the way and collecting specimens for the Royal Ontario Museum, and my buddy was making films for Audubon Screen Tours.
This is this Bristol Foster?
That's right.
Here in BC?
That's right. He's the director of ecological reserves. He's trying to preserve some of the things that you were
He's
talking
fine.
about in the last segment there.
Hey, listen, when did you start painting?
When did I start? When I was 12. Well, actually, all kids start painting, and most sensible kids give it up when they're 12 or 13. Most young people, I think, like nature study and painting, but they give it up when they
But
grow
you've
up.
got it made. You're big time now.
And I just never grown up. I just keep on doing it.
And you're big time.
Well, I'm getting better known. And this,
$50 book?
40.
40.
Yeah, they say it should be a $65 book, but we've got a $900 collector's edition that we sort of buried all the price.
You may be a long-haired artist, but you're still quite a good huckster. Eh? What do we do? I'll talk to Bob. I'll take some calls to Bob, I think, for a little while. He's bright, isn't he? Let's become artists after the break. The art of Robert Bateman, who came without his loons. The loons he painted for Ed and Lily. Nice to be able to call the Gov Jen Ed and Lily, isn't it? He's really a remarkably nice guy for a socialist. Bateman, I happen to turn to my particular favorite form of art, which is Cubism. Cubism?
That's right, that's right.
Was that one of your earlier stages?
That's right. I started out doing wildlife art, and then I went into Impressionist sort of stuff. I was kind of told that this wasn't art in those days when I was around 18, 19. And I started doing art with a capital A, Impressionist art, and I got really into the group of 7. I went up to Algonquin Park, sat in my canoe and paddled out and sat on a little rock and finished the oil sketches. And then I got more and more kind of loose and bold, and I got into Cubism and then kind of far out abstraction. All during my 20s and 30s, this is what I was doing.
What sells, what is your, I hate to ask crass questions, but in the lack of knowledge, one's got to ask crass questions. How much does a good Bateman go for on the market?
Well, I sold one in Wyoming last August for $32,000.
Must have been a big canvas.
It was kind of big. It's a great big bunch of doll sheep.
Oh, doll sheep.
Yeah, yeah, with the big horns that kind of stick out.
32,000.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty close to my top. But they've been going. I don't have anything to do with my prices. My dealers seem to set them, and they seem to keep on going up.
In other words, you show them at exhibitions, and
Right.
the demand creates the price.
I had a show in England in the fall of '79, and a dealer from New York came over the way with backers, like you get backers for an oil well, and he put his name in the hat to buy the originals, and he managed to get about 8, and he said he was going to take them back to New York, and in a year and a half he's going to double, he paid retail, he's going to double the price, and sell them in New York so his backers could get more money. And sure, I thought he was crazy, but I had no control. They weren't mine, they were his, he bought them. But sure enough, he did, and he not only doubled it, just before the show he upped it a bit more than doubling it, and he got
I've got one good friend who's got a few bucks, and I'd love to go into his house and drive him crazy, because he's got a bunch of, who is it now? I hope I got the name right. I think they're Emily Carrs.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, the story is that there are many Emily Carr forgeries around. And he's paid fantastic prices for some of these Emily Carrs. He's got a couple of group of 7s too. And I love to say, go around the hall and say, that's a forgery. You were done in that. It's not worth $10.
Yeah, but how long ago did he get them?
Oh, a fair while ago.
Well, they're probably real.
Don't tell him that. I don't want to do that. Recognition isn't easy to come by as an artist, though, is it?
Well, I've never looked for
No calls, I will have. One call to Bob Bateman on art.
Oh.
Hold on to your
Okay,
hat.
great.
There's no call. Hello? Now, I'm pretty slow at producing cultural calls unless you give people lots of warning. But how does recognition come, really?
Well, I never...
Because you taught until you were when?
I taught until 1976. And I was getting more money for my paintings than I was for the teaching by then, so I
It became a
decided
simple
somebody
economic...
was trying to tell me something, so I...
Are you doing any shows in Vancouver?
I'm glad you mentioned I'm having a big show. The major show of my career is starting in Ottawa at the National Museum of Canada. Then it's going to Quebec City and Winnipeg, and it'll be in Edmonton in July, and it's coming here a year from now to the Centennial Gallery.
Centennial. Is that a private gallery?
No, it's a big gallery. Oh gosh, where is it? I think it's over near UBC.
You see, I hate the art gallery people here. And I have no real reason to hate them, except that they had a crummy building on Georgia Street, and we had this magnificent old imperial courthouse, which they fiddled and got against my wishes anyway, and they've ruined this magnificent old courthouse to put in an art gallery, you know.
Yeah, I guess I might have voted with you.
You know,
if I had any
these
choice on
magnificent.
that.
I mean, I'm sure the art gallery people are very nice.
Well, I'm not going to be in the art gallery.
You're going to be in the one at UBC.
The one that had the musical instruments show. It was one of the most famous shows.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That's the gallery.
Planetarium? No.
No, it's not. No, it's not the planetarium exactly.
Give
It's
these
got an
four
exhibition
directors
space.
an inch and they're becoming... Listen, Robert, I'm very glad you made it this morning. I'm sorry about the loons. When your show comes to Vancouver, I might even go and see it.
Okay, and
Were you never tempted to shoot? There's one I want to show you here, which I think is the best thing in the book, only having looked at 3 pages. I'm a kind of primitive myself. How's that for description? You just gotta wait. I'm coming up in this camera with it. I hope it's not too shiny. Can you see that? Can you frame that up?
tilt down.
Which
Okay,
way?
There we are. That's
So we
a bluffing.
gray.
That's a bluffing bull, elephant. He's not going to really charge. He's just faking it.
Where did you do that?
In Amboseli in Kenya.
Listen, we've got some calls for you.
Okay.
Let's try it. If they're no good, we'll dump them. Where do I go, Gladys?
Queen Charlotte Islands.
Go ahead from Queen Charlotte Islands.
Hello, Mr. Bateman.
Yes.
I just want to say I'm very impressed with your work, and I'm wondering, have you ever been to the Queen Charlotte Islands?
I have to confess I haven't. I'm very embarrassed about that. This very good friend Bristol Foster that I mentioned earlier got his PhD on the Queen Charlottes. You might even know him. I haven't been there. I, of course, spent a lot of time in Vancouver Island, the west coast, and up in the northwest corner of it, too.
Well, I certainly hope that you do make it up here sometime, because an artist of your ability could really do it justice. And
How's the weather up there?
Oh, well, I love it here,
Right
but it's
now.
raining right now.
Yeah, and cold. Squamish. Go ahead, please.
Hello, I have to thank you for your presentations this morning, both from Greenpeace and from Robert Bateman. I'm quite exhausted today. I attended a Squamish official community plan meeting last night, and I was in opposition to the road proposals through the estuary, and I'm also in opposition to pollution from industry and from sewage. And I really thank you. I feel really renewed, because it's wonderful just to turn on the TV and find other
Watch Webster and being renewed. Be renewed every day at 9 a.m. precisely if you can stand it. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Mr. Bateman? Oh,
Yes, right.
yes. This is a very refreshing program this morning. I'm really enjoying it. I want to know, though, the dates of your showing at the Vancouver Gallery.
It's opening about a year from now in October.
Oh, yeah, we have to wait.
Unless you want to go to Ottawa, or it'll be opening in Edmonton in July.
I see. Well, I'll look out for your book. And thank you.
It's in all the stores right now, as of this morning.
Robert, thank you. And these pleasant calls are most unusual for this program.
That's what I
I'll be
figured.
back after the break. I don't want to go to the Bering Sea to fight the Japs or Japanese, oh forgive me, or anything else. I wouldn't mind going around the world in a Land Rover. Go anything to escape responsibility. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
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 I'm not an art lover, but I certainly do appreciate your pictures. They're just gorgeous. I'm
Thank you.
surprised someone that young could paint that terrific.
He's not that young, he's 50.
I'm 51.
That's young.
Okay.
Is your book available locally?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's all I want
It's
to
only
know.
$40.
Thank you very much.
Bye, and you're going to do your shtick at Eaton's downtown today.
Yeah, I'll be at Eaton's downtown signing right after this.
Must be terrible if nobody shows.
That's right. That's why I thought I'd mention it.
I took my harp to a party, but nobody asked me to play. Go ahead, please.
Hello. I love your work, Mr. Bateman. I just want to know if it's possible to learn how to paint that well, or if you have to be born with it.
I think you just have to keep on doing it. I taught art for 20 years.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, if you can take courses on how to learn to paint.
No, I don't believe it.
To sketch and
I
draw,
taught art
but
for 20
I'm nowhere
years.
near that stage yet.
Yeah, in spite of the fact that I taught it for 20 years, I don't believe in really teaching people to do art. I believe that artists just do art, and in spite of what you take.
If you had a class of 100 people, you could spot within 6 months who is going to be an artist.
You
and
can
who
spot
would-
within 6 days.
6 days.
Sure.
I think I'll scrounge up enough money to buy your book, and maybe that'll help me.
Jolly
Okay,
good
great,
show.
thanks.
Very impressed by the cultural level of our callers this
too.
morning. Terribly impressed. Must do more of this kind of thing, but not too often. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to say how very much we enjoy seeing some true art I wondered, where did Mr. Bateman go to school, and where did he teach his art? Or did he teach art?
Well, yes, I did. I have to confess that I went to school in the University of Toronto, and I also have to confess that I took geography instead of art. The reason was, as I was just saying, I figured an artist will always do art, and I took geography so I could get better summer field work. I could have somebody else pay for me getting out in the field, and in fact, I did get 2 beautiful trips to the Arctic and 1 to Newfoundland.
Well, I'm so glad that whatever you did it, because you certainly produced a marvelous document, and I'm really looking forward to getting downtown and getting a copy. I have a very personal interest. I have a son who has a wife, both of whom went to the Ontario College of Art, and both of whom are in the art business. So I have a very, as I say, personal interest. But let me say again what a
Thank you very much.
to see your work and to enjoy listening to you.
Thank you.
Good, good. You're quite a social success. It's perhaps because you're kind of normal.
I don't know. I don't think I'm that normal.
I sometimes run into artists who aren't quite normal, and I find it difficult to communicate with them. That means to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Although I had a great artist the other day, but he came in a bad day. I had Roloff Benny in here.
Oh, yes.
And he was badly shaken because he knows Sadat and whatnot. It was the morning Sadat had been shot.
Fantastic.
But, he was a gem. I liked Roloff. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mr. Webster. I wonder if you, Mr. Bateman, would tell us a little about his stamp designing.
Are you a stamp designer?
I did. That's right. I did 5 of the endangered species, speaking of this morning.
For the Canadian stamps?
The Canadian stamps.
Why didn't you bring them with you?
That's right.
You're not very... right, no runes, no stamps.
I don't look after anything like that.
Well, it's time you wakened up.
Let me tell you what I did. I did the cougar, the peregrine falcon, the prairie chickens, the bowhead whale, which you've been talking about, and the last one was the bison, the wood bison. I think you can probably still buy the wood bison.
Robert Bateman, artist extraordinaire. That's French. Forgive me. After the break. Tomorrow morning, we're going to examine the new army of arrogant bureaucrats under the command of Carl Friedman, the ombudsman. That's for tomorrow, yeah. Anything else for tomorrow? Oh, Carol will keep me going for a while. Oh, yes, we're going to have the leaders of the young political parties. Tories, Social Credit, Libs, and NDP. That should be good fun. See if they know anything at all. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. precisely.